Hi, Dennis Weiss down at Great Plains Theater with John Barker, and we're here because John's running for office in the Kansas House of Representatives, and you're representing the 70th District here.
Correct.
So I can't help but call you Judge Barker.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Everybody
okay.
still calls me that.
Okay, that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to tell you, when you called me about doing a VMP on behalf of your campaign, and you're paying us for this paid advertising, I said to you, John, I watched the forum on Eagle Local TV that was shot out at Eisenhower while I was in Colorado, and something really jumped out to me. There was a discussion about the issues going on, and you said to the camera and the people assembled in the room, you said, federal tax dollars are your tax dollars too.
That is true.
And then you went on to talk about Medicaid expansion.
Right.
So what are the issues in the local Kansas 70th District race that are important, and why are you the guy for the job?
Okay, well, let's talk about Medicaid expansion. You know, we've always had Medicaid. We have a reimbursement rate from the federal government. State pays 45%. The federal government pays 55%. Under the ACMA, the Obamacare, they made an offer for expanded Medicaid expansion, which serves a new population. The new population is 19 to 64-year-olds that have no disabilities, that are able-bodied people, and that we would include them in, and that the federal government would reimburse at 90%, and the state would pay 10%. But it's a new population. These folks don't have any disabilities. They are not necessarily below the poverty line. We presently take care of all children, 230% of the poverty line. We take care of pregnant women. We take care of women that have children less than a year old. And we've always covered that. And we care the frail, the seniors.
Right.
They go to nursing homes. We take care of that. So this is a new population. They're projecting 160, 150,000 people. Every state that's made those estimates have been off the mark. California was 222% off the mark. Colorado was 139%. Every state, the only state that hit it was Hawaii.
Okay.
So if we're talking about if it's going to cost us $10 million a year, and the federal government's going to pay the rest of that, that $10 million could be 20, 25, or $50 million. The federal government is not sure with Obamacare that they would not change that reimbursement to go back to regular Medicaid, which would be 45%. So if you're talking 10 or 20, $30 million, and suddenly it's 4 times that.
I can understand why local hospitals, some of them might be interested in the expansion of this program because it's
brings in more
potential
revenue.
new dollars in, and that's all well and good.
Right.
But with the thought process, John, that there's no growth in wealth for individuals driving this purchase, how is that good for us? That is our tax dollars, both local and federal. So if you have able-bodied people who could get a job and pay for their health care, why is this good for us?
And they would have other options. Under the Obamacare, they can work 31 hours a week, apply for a grant under the Obamacare, and they would pay a portion based upon their income for their hospitalization. What's bad about, in my opinion, Medicaid expansion is there are no co-pays. You know, I'm 65, I have Medicare. I have co-pays.
Sure.
If you have Blue Cross and Blue Shield, you have co-pays.
I do.
So these folks could go every day. So I'm very cautious with spending taxpayer dollars.
Okay, so I'm going to use the last minute and a half to ask you some other questions that have a number to them.
Okay.
I've known you for a while.
You have.
I heard from all of the people at the forum some good ideas, and I believed everybody at the forum had genuine care and concern for our citizens. I've always thought that of you.
I hope so, because I do.
Okay, so, but you've been in Topeka for a while, and I also see reflected in you some knowledge about the difficulty of managing a limited amount of money to cover an appropriate amount of services.
And that's correct. We have a limited amount of money. My opponent would want to go back to what I call the taxpayers' bank and raise taxes to get more revenue. I would like to work with what we have first. You know, we need to provide first-class education. We need to provide for the frail and the elderly. If Medicaid expansion would pass, they get in front of all the disabilities, the IDs, which is intellectually disabled or the disadvantaged, and the physical disabilities. So they would go in front of them, and we have a waiting list for that. So my concern is taking the amount of dollars. We have the highest taxes in our border, right now in income taxes surrounding our border states.
Right.
We have the highest sales taxes. I'm not inclined to want to raise those taxes again. I want to work within what we have, or the revenue that we have.
Quick question.
Right?
Revenue, we set an all-time record this year for collecting taxes in the state of Kansas. So it seems like there's quite a bit of revenue. Do we have a spending problem in a place or two?
We do. You know, we have that fixed revenue. You know, there's other needs we have. Our judges of the district court are number 50 in the nation as far as pay. I've talked to the Chief Justice. We want to address that issue. A few years ago, I worked on getting more troopers, funding for more troopers, which we needed, and to increase their funds because we couldn't get a lot of people applying for it. We've worked on correctional officers. You know, and Republicans care about people, but we also have to care about the taxpayer.
Well, I appreciate that. I think we're out of time.
Okay.
So, but there's one more thing you have to say to the camera. What's
Yes,
that?
yeah. I'm John Barker, and I approve this message.
Have a great day.
Thank you.